What's good, guys? Nick's Lotus here, interrupting your current game of Magic with some comments that I think need to see more play in the Commander format. If you want to watch me go through thousands and thousands of cards looking for some of these more out-of-the-box unique cards, be sure to check out the channel on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., where I will start live streaming the deep dives into Magic's 20,000 plus cards. Anyway, let's get into it. Up first is Rats of Wrath. 1 and a black for a 2/1 rat with pay 1 black, destroy target artifact, creature, or land you control. Okay, so the fact that it destroys something and doesn't sack opens you up to some regeneration shenanigans with Spiny Starfish, and does have potential as a game ender with Baron Glory, and at the end of the day, it's a decent sack outlet that can prevent opponents from getting rewarded from cards like Sundering Growth. So I mean, there's a lot of potential here. Up next is Mine Excavation, which ironically can be your excavation as well. 1 and a white for a sorcery. Return target artifact or enchantment from a graveyard to its owner's hand. This is one of those rare instances where a card says in a instead of in yours or in an opponent. So you can stick an artifact or enchantments from an opponent's graveyard back into their hand, you can stick an artifact or enchantment from your graveyard back into your hand, or make some kind of political deal with it. This card's actually really good. I didn't even know this existed. Up next is Protective Sphere. 2 and a white for an enchantment with the ability to pay 1 mana and 1 life to prevent all damage that will be dealt by a source of your choice that shares a color with the mana used to activate this ability. Colorless prevents no damage. No dice against artifacts, but if you're running an 8.5 tails deck, or if you have a Blind Seer in the 99 of another deck, this card becomes a pain. Keep in mind you use this ability as many times as you want for 1 mana and 1 life, so especially in an 8.5 tails deck, you're preventing all the damage. Up next, we've got a green card with Glittermonger. This is out of Streets of Ducapenna, so a fairly new card. It's 3 and a green for a 1/4 elf rogue. Both of those creature types are heavily important. And you can tap it to create a treasure token. So in treasure token heavy decks, in artifact heavy decks, in elf decks, in rogue decks, in sacrifice decks, in mana ramp decks, there's just a ton of decks this can go into. And I think it's a super solid and well-costed card for being a common, and it has an extremely powerful effect. And finally, another red card, surprisingly, Kessig Flame Breather. 1 and a red for a 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature card, deal 1 damage to each opponent. Give this thing lifelink and passively gain a ton of life over the game if that's your thing. But my main thing is a combo piece with Hullbreaker Horror. With any 2 0-drop artifacts in hand, Hullbreaker Horror, and this thing, you can do infinite damage to everybody on board. And that's even a complex one. I'm sure there's an easier way to do infinite damage with this thing, or just have so much value off of it in the course of a game. I'm also sure that Purphoros is the main reason this thing says non-creature, because both of them in play would be pretty insane. But it also opens it up to a bunch of other shenanigans and combos, which I think is really cool, and we should dive into a little bit more in Commander. Let me know if you plan or already run any of these cards. Much love, guys. Go play some Magic.